Hello and welcome to another episode where we attempt to fall asleep, but we succeed because we have the help of Habibi Spice, who is me. Tonight we are going to be reading a book called The Emperor's New Clothes. This is a book about an emperor who gets new clothes, but the clothes are invisible to anyone who is stupid. So unfortunately, you will not be able to see them. For example, the emperor is a little worried that he can't actually see them himself. So the emperor thinks he is stupid. Very interesting. This book was provided by one of our listeners, so thank you. And if you have any recommendations that you want me to read, feel free to get in contact and send them to me. Nothing to wear. Once upon a time, there was an emperor who loved clothes. He really didn't care about anything else. I mean, ideally he would care about his empire. He ignored his soldiers. There we go. He avoided his advisors. His advisors are looking for him all the time. He hated plays. He would fall asleep during a play and think about clothes. Look at this illustration. Get comfortable, Larry, and only liked riding in the park so he could show off his amazing outfits. You look amazing, Your Excellence. I know, riding on his high horse. But the emperor had a problem. The royal procession was in 2 weeks' time, and he had nothing to wear. So the emperor, instead of worrying about his empire, is worried about his clothing and what he will wear. The way the world perceive him, apparently, is very valuable to him. But did he forget that his empire? You must have something, Your Excellence, said Boris, his servant. You already have 7,322 outfit. That's a lot of outfit to have. Or does he have walk-in closet? No, it does not even fit in walk-in closet. He need to have self-storage unit. Hello Habibi, can I get self-storage unit? I'm the emperor. Oh, we did not invent them yet, blah blah, you know how it is. But I've worn them all before, moaned the emperor. I want to look so amazing, so fantastic, so splendiferous, that people will talk about me for years to come. Huh, I see, said Boris, looking rather glum. I would be glum too if the emperor have 7,322 outfit and he is complaining. It was Boris who had to take care of all the emperor's clothes. Are you sure this one won't do? Boris asked hopefully, picking a velvet and gold suit from the pile. Don't be ridiculous. And I am not doing this for nothing. Look at this illustration. He literally did this to his Boris. Boris, said the emperor in a stern voice. Yes, sire, said Boris. Who is the emperor here? You are, Your Excellence, replied Boris. Right. And if I say I want new clothes, then I mean it. Go and find me the finest clothes makers in town, ordered the emperor. At once. I'm off to have a snooze, the emperor added. It's been a very tiring morning. As you wish, Your Excellence. So Boris need to go and find the finest clothes makers in town. He cannot just put a Craigslist ad. Clothes needed for emperor. He cannot do a Facebook marketplace post. He cannot do an Instagram story because he does not have these things. You had to put in some work back in the day. So as you can see, Boris has a lot of work to do. Chapter 2: Slimus and Slick. So he made a sign and stood on the street. The illustration says Emperor needs tasteful and elegant new outfit. Clothes makers apply here. Interesting. So he actually did the equivalent of Craigslist ad. Boris spent all day looking for an incredible outfit. He wasn't having much luck until two strangers rushed up to him. "We're the finest clothes makers in the world," they said. "Take us to the Emperor at once." When they arrived at the palace, the strangers pushed past the palace footmen and burst into the Emperor's room. "Out of our way!" They just ran in there. "Who are you?" shouted the Emperor angrily. He was busy choosing his afternoon coat and hated being interrupted. So they just ran in there. "We are Slimus and Slick, at your service," they said, and then they bowed. The Emperor just stared at them. "Haven't you heard of us?" said Slimus, looking shocked. "We're world famous." "Habibi, well, no," admitted the Emperor. He hated not knowing things. "Not a good look for you. We make magical clothes," said Slimus. "Magical," said the Emperor, sounding interested. "Yes," said Slick, with a sly smile. "Our clothes can only be seen by clever people. They will be absolutely invisible to anyone stupid," Slimus explained. "Anyone who can't do their job properly won't be able to see them either," Slick added. Ya haram. So now we are foreshadowing. First, we know that the Emperor does not like not knowing things, which means he did not know Slimus and Slick. And we already know he does not do his job properly, because all he does is pick his clothing. Boris gulped. "What if I can't see the clothes?" he thought. "Boris, I would not worry if I were you." The Emperor was very excited. "Make me a magic suit this minute," he cried. "It won't be cheap," said Slimus and Slick. "We only use the very best material." "It won't be cheap," said Slimus and Slick. "We only use the very best material." "Take this," said the Emperor, handing them a sack of money. "You can work in the palace. Take anything you want. Only get to work. I want that suit." The Emperor has money. Chapter 3: The Two Cheats. As soon as they were alone, Slimus and Slick laughed until their bellies ached and their faces turned purple. That's not a good sign. "The fool believed us," cried Slimus. "We're going to have lots and lots of lovely money." They set up their looms in the palace and ordered in the finest silks and the most expensive gold thread. But they didn't use any of it. Instead, they sold it all for lots more money. So they were flipping the product. They got silk and they flipped it. Very clever businessmen. "Is there anything else you need?" asked the Emperor. "Yes," Slick replied. 5 fudge cakes, 10 tubs of vanilla ice cream, and a constant supply of chocolate. That would really help or work. Maybe the Emperor, if he was clever, he would have caught on by now. But you mustn't say a thing until it's finished, Slick told the Emperor. We want it to be a fantastic surprise. Every day, the Emperor crept past their door, listening to the loom going back and forth. He was desperate to know how the suit was coming along. I know, he thought. I'll send Boris along to find out. But when Boris went in, he could see nothing but empty looms. What do you think of our wonderful work? Asked Slick. Such a charming pattern, isn't it? Said Slimus. Oh crumbs, thought Boris. I can't see a thing. I must be stupid. Well, demanded Slimus. Have you got nothing to say? Boris gulped. It's, fantastic. He lied. Absolutely, great. I'll tell the Emperor I'm very pleased with it. He hurried off to tell the Emperor how fabulous his new clothes were. Slimus and Slick smiled to themselves and went back to eating cake. So Boris did not want to admit he cannot see it, because then he is stupid. This is like the dress. Remember the blue and gold? Was it silver and gold or blue and silver? Blue and grey dress. You know what I'm talking about. People saw it gold or people saw it blue. What if you did not see the dress at all? Ever think about that? Relax. Of course you don't think about that, because you don't think at all. Chapter 4. The Emperor's Visit. Word quickly spread through the kingdom that the Emperor had ordered some amazing and mysterious new clothes. And the Emperor couldn't wait a moment longer to see them. He called for Boris and the palace footmen and went to see Slimus and Slick at work. This is getting spicy. Oh, Your Excellence, said Slimus, bowing low. We're so pleased to see you. The Emperor looked at the loom, then looked again. This is terrible, he thought. I can't see anything. I'm not worthy of being Emperor. So he thought that in his head, but aloud, he said, It's magnificent. Really, very tasteful, added Boris. The palace footmen were worried. Each thought the other could see the magic material. Splendid, they said in unison. Slimus and Slick pretended to take the material down from the loom. They made cuts in the air with huge scissors and sewed using needles without any thread. Everyone clapped loudly. The Emperor even gave Slimus and Slick a gold medal each for their excellent sewing. So everybody is pretending to see these clothing, because they do not want to admit they are stupid and cannot see them. But everyone think that everyone else can see them. They cannot comprehend what the other person is seeing, and vice versa, so they will cheat. After all, why would you want to look stupid if everybody else is not stupid? On the morning of the royal procession, the Emperor went to put on his new clothes. He was filled with nervous excitement. Here's your coat and your pantaloons. They were giving him nothing. Would your Majesty care to undress? Said Slimus. Then we'll put on your clothes in front of the mirror. I'll bring over the cloak, said Slick. Boris, pick up the train, will you? This is your shirt, Your Majesty, said Slimus. See, it's as light as a spider's web. So he was putting on the shirt for him in front of the mirror. And he is naked. Is this harassment? Maybe in the workplace? You think the Emperor would care to talk to HR? Slick smiled. Oh, it fits so well, he said. Then the palace footmen bent down, just as they were picking up a train. The Emperor admired himself in the mirror one last time. Well, I'm ready, he said. Don't I look splendid, Boris? Yes, Your Excellence, said Boris, looking straight up at the ceiling. Ya haram. I would imagine everybody is looking at the ceiling, and the Emperor's little dingaling is dangling along. His dingaling is dangling along. Then open the palace doors, said the Emperor. Let the royal procession begin. He was thinking people won't believe their eyes. They're about to see my new outfit that only stupid people cannot see. But the problem, if the Emperor thinks he is better than everyone, doesn't he already think everyone else is stupid? But maybe he's so caught up with his own feelings that he thinks he is the most stupid. That's why he did not even think that everybody else would be also stupid. Chapter 5. The Royal Procession. It is getting spicy, Habibi. The crowd gasped as the Emperor emerged. Everyone had heard that only clever people could see his clothes. What a wonderful outfit, they cried. Such a magnificent pattern, said a woman. The Emperor smiled to himself. These are my most successful clothes ever, he thought, and added a spring to his step. Let me see him, cried a small child who was stuck at the back of the crowd. Habibi, keep your child away from the Emperor. The child was lifted up on his father's shoulders so he could see the Emperor in all his glory. Oh, said the child, the Emperor's got nothing on. Everyone around the child fell silent and looked at the Emperor again. So, everybody was playing along until a child came with the childlike honesty and innocence. And this is when everybody had to take a step back and reconsider what is going on. He's right, you know, said his father. The Emperor is naked. Then faster than a spreading fire, a whisper whizzed through the crowd. Good whisper, yeah. Soon the whole crowd was chanting, the Emperor's got no clothes on. The Emperor's got no clothes on. The Emperor heard their words and shivered. Suddenly, he felt very cold. So he felt completely normal before this. He assumed he is the stupid one. But now that they said he has no clothes, he believed it himself. He did not believe what he could see with his eyes, but he believed what other people told him they could see with their eyes. And even though those were lies as well. You know what they say, real eyes realize real lies. He looked down. To his horror, the Emperor saw that they were right. I'm naked, he saw his dingaling. Then he blushed bright red all over. I must carry on, he thought. This is the royal procession, and I am the Emperor. The Emperor held his head high and walked more proudly than ever. Meanwhile, Slimus and Slick were packing their bags full of money, getting ready to flee the palace forever. We tricked him, they cried, and cackled with glee. As for the crowds, they were enjoying the best procession ever. It's called voyeurism, Habibi, I don't know what to tell you. Boris, of course, wasn't having such a good day. Oh well, he thought, as he followed the emperor home. At least one thing turned out as he wanted. People will talk about the emperor for years to come. What an interesting story. First we have two clever businessmen who created a lie, and they based their lie on the consumer. Very clever, they say, if you are stupid, you will not see our product. What kind of person want to admit they're stupid? It took a whole empire to run with the joke, to run with the lie, to lie to themselves and each other. A whole empire of adults until one child said, Habibi, don't you see his ding-a-ling is right there? And everybody was like, oh my God, we can see his ding-a-ling. My son was right. Boris got what he wanted. Everybody will be talking about this. No publicity is bad publicity, am I right? This is like when you make a wish with a genie and he take it literally. You say, I wish everybody will be talking about this procession for years to come, about this outfit for years to come. Say less, will say the genie, and then he will create Slick and Slimy, whatever their name slime is. What kind of lie are you telling yourself? What kind of lie are you telling the people around you? And what kind of lies are they saying? Who is going to be the person that sees your naked self? Because if it is not you, then you have a problem. And we don't want to have a child see our dingalings. That is not the way we want it. I hope you enjoy this book. And I hope you are sleepy, like Larry. Because now it's time to embrace your naked self into your mattress and fall asleep. Good night, Habibi.